My beloved child, when I look upon your soul walking through the days you have just passed, I rejoice because you have begun to sense the subtle movements taking place in the unseen realm, the gentle breezes of the Holy Spirit, the faint vibrations within your consciousness, the small flashes like lightning in the night, signaling that something is taking shape. You have started to recognize things that can no longer be dismissed as coincidence. Your heart has become more sensitive, your ears sharper to the things you once perceived only faintly, and this new sensitivity is the starting point of the journey. I am about to lead you into a journey of discernment, a path not only meant to protect you from deception, but also to open a new depth in the communion between you and me. From the beginning of creation, light was spoken forth even before the sun was hung in the sky. That was not merely an event in the history of the universe, but a symbol reminding you that every spiritual journey begins with illumination. Humans may walk in the dimness of limited understanding, but when light comes, everything is exposed. Crooked paths become straight, and hidden corners reveal their true nature. I bring this light into your life not to make you fear the unknown, but to equip your inner eyes to see what others consider invisible. There are moments when I choose to speak softly, as gentle as a breath in the early morning wind. It is not because I am distant, but because I want your soul to learn how to seek me. When you learn to listen, you develop the capacity to recognize my divine presence in the simplest of things. Just like Samuel, a child lying in the temple who had never known my voice, only when Eli taught him how to respond did he realize that every faint whisper was not from man but from me. Discernment, therefore, is not merely the ability to distinguish right from wrong, it is the art of recognizing my voice among the countless echoes of life. Many souls desire guidance but refuse to enter the space of stillness. They want quick answers, clear signs, and straight paths, yet they fail to understand that spiritual light does not always arrive as a blazing fire. Sometimes it flickers like a tiny flame that only the patient can see. I train you in stillness before entrusting you with strong discernment, because discernment without silence will only make your heart more vulnerable to the noise of the world rather than attuned to my whisper. My beloved child, when I look upon your soul walking through the days you have just passed, I rejoice because you have begun to sense the subtle movements taking place in the unseen realm, the gentle breezes of the Holy Spirit, the faint vibrations within your consciousness, the small flashes like lightning in the night, signaling that something is taking shape. You have started to recognize things that can no longer be dismissed as coincidence. I am leading you into this depth not so that you may become suspicious of everyone, but so that you may walk upon the earth as one who understands, like Noah's dove, which knew when the waters had receded not by its natural sight but by inward guidance. This is not mere natural sensitivity, it is the union between you and the eternal light. When a soul learns to listen to me, it discovers that no earthly voice carries more weight than the gentle yet powerful prompting of my spirit. In the world you live in, light is mixed with shadows. Truth is often wrapped in clever appearances, and good intentions are sometimes masked by personal ambition. Not everything you see is as it seems. Not every smile contains goodwill. Not every hand extended toward you is meant to lift you up. But I do not call you to view life through the eyes of suspicion. I call you to see all things through the light of revelation. When that light shines through your soul, you are no longer drawn by appearance but by essence. You are no longer swayed by smooth speech, but anchored by truth. There is a truth understood only by those mature in discernment. Light does not only reveal what is good, it also exposes what is false, and that is the beginning of freedom. When the false is brought into the open, it loses its power. When the truth is recognized, it becomes a foundation. This is why I teach you discernment, not so you may live in doubt, but so you may live in the freedom of clarity. In a world full of sophisticated masks, discernment is the doorway through which you step into a peace that others cannot comprehend. The journey I am leading you into will not stop at distinguishing between good people and bad ones, for that would be far too shallow. I will bring you to a deeper level of vision, the ability to recognize the source of everything that draws near to you. Every voice has an origin, every influence has a root. Every presence in your life carries a spiritual essence, one that either aligns with me or opposes me. You will learn to see beyond appearance, to hear beyond spoken words, to perceive the essence hidden behind things that look sweet on the surface. This is only the beginning. As you step into the light of awareness, what you once could not understand will become clear. What you once overlooked will become significant. The subtle movements in the spiritual realm will become the language I use to guide you, and you will discover that the journey of discernment is not merely a shield of protection, but a key unlocking the spiritual potential I placed within you long before you were formed. My beloved child, when you begin to enter the depths of truly knowing me, you will realize that discernment does not come from knowledge, nor from life experience, but from the harmony between your soul and my light. This light is unlike any light of the physical world. It does not shine from a lamp or the sun, but comes from the one who declared, "Let there be light." It is that original light, light untouched by darkness, that will slip into your inner being and open a realm of perception no natural eye can reach. As this light expands within you, everything becomes clearer words that sound gentle, yet carry the murkiness of hidden motives. Smiles adorned with beauty, but lacking sincerity, acts of kindness that do not spring from true love. You will begin to sense what people in the world cannot name, a vibration that comes from the deep source of every soul. Your spirit, which once wavered easily under outward impressions, will begin to stand firm. You will no longer be easily swayed by those who appear confident, nor manipulated by those who know how to use words as a cloak for their intentions. The peace I pour into your heart will become the scale that weighs everything you encounter. If something does not come from me, no matter how beautifully decorated it appears, you will sense a slight imbalance within. It will not be fear, but a quiet warning sharp as an arrow, prompting you to pause and reflect. I will not allow you to walk into any encounter without an inner signal, for your soul is more precious to me than pure gold. True discernment never contradicts love. It is the highest form of love toward your own soul. To love without wisdom is to open your home to thieves while believing you are being kind. But to love with clarity is to guard what I have placed within you, to preserve the spiritual treasures I have cultivated through many seasons. You cannot hand your heart to just anyone simply because they appear friendly. Your heart is my temple, and that temple must be guarded more carefully than any earthly possession you own. I lead you into discernment, not to make you withdrawn, but so you may learn to open the right doors. If you open the right doors, blessings will flow into your life like a river that never runs dry. If you open the wrong ones, it can cost you years of peace, seasons of growth, and precious opportunities I have arranged for you. Many have learned painful lessons, not because they were unkind or foolish, but because they trusted too much in appearances, too much in words, too much in the sudden arrival of people who came with radiant smiles but carried dark spirits. I do not want you to experience such things. I want you to walk aware, steady, and clear about who belongs in your life and who does not belong in the space I have set aside for you. The enemy never arrives in the frightening form humans imagine. It does not come with tangled hair, a fierce face, or glowing red eyes like the scenes in movies. No, it chooses subtle masks, a seemingly friendly piece of advice, a shared vulnerability that feels like empathy, a gesture that appears compassionate. It knows your soul opens most easily when you feel understood, This is why discernment becomes the key that helps you look deeper into the source of that understanding. Does it come from me or from manipulation? I lead you beyond the surface of emotions so you may recognize true companionship from hidden agendas. There are people who enter your life like the dawn. When they appear, your heart feels larger, calmer, and clearer. Without many words, their presence lightens your soul. They do not exhaust you, do not make you guess. Their intentions do not pull you into confusion. These are the ones I send. Their fruit is peace, and you will recognize it from the very first moment. But there are also those who arrive like a fog, unclear, indirect, lacking transparency. When they appear, your spirit feels like it must stay alert, watching every step. That is the sign of confusion, and confusion never comes from me. I am not asking you to avoid people. I am teaching you to look at the root. A tree is known by its fruit, not by its leaves. Grapes do not grow on thorn bushes, and figs do not grow on thistles. People are the same. Their words may be rehearsed, but the fruit of their lives cannot be faked. If you watch patiently without rushing to follow your first impression, you will see their true nature more clearly. Those whom I send always bear my imprint: humility, sincerity, encouragement, and peace. But those who do not come from me often carry small traces of disorder, a word that unsettles you, an attitude that stirs suspicion, an energy that causes your heart to tremble inside. My beloved child, discernment is not the ability to see everything before it happens, but the ability to recognize the movement of spiritual currents within each moment. When I stir your heart with the words, "Be careful," it is not to make you tremble, but to draw you back into the light. When I whisper, "This is good," I do not leave you to guess. I allow peace to rise gently within you like calm waters settling after a light wind. Peace is my strongest confirmation, and uneasiness is the clearest warning the Holy Spirit places upon the soul. You must train yourself to recognize these two signs, for your heart is often clouded by passing emotions. There are relationships that might cause your heart to tremble naturally, yet emotion is never my sign unless it is confirmed by peace. And there are things that confuse you at first, but after you pray, peace settles over you like a white cloth. This is when you learn that discernment is not based on initial feelings, but on the harmony between your heart and my spirit. I want you to understand that discernment is not a burden, but a gift. It is like sunlight entering through a window, dissolving mist and revealing the road before you. I do not want you to walk in blindness. I do not want you to place your trust in unworthy hands. I do not want you to suffer wounds you were never meant to bear. You were not born to be a target of deceitful intentions. You were created to walk in light, in peace, and in the serenity I give to all who draw near to me. For this reason I open the eyes of your inner being. I do not want you to waste time wondering who belongs in your life. I want you to see clearly, know clearly, and sense clearly. When my light touches a soul, it does what natural sight cannot do. It sees through the outer layer and perceives truth. When truth is revealed, you no longer fear deception. When falsehood is exposed, you no longer fall into its snares. This is the freedom of discernment, and I am leading you into that freedom. The journey I am guiding you through is not paved with instant answers. It unfolds through layers of revelation, just as dawn does not arrive with an explosion of light, but with the gentle shifting of darkness into morning hues. Spiritual revelation follows this same pattern. It does not come to overwhelm you, but to open your eyes little by little, allowing you to receive everything through peace instead of fear. When your eyes are open to see the true nature of people and circumstances, you stop living by fluctuating emotions and begin living by the subtle leading given to a soul that knows how to listen. For discernment is not only for recognizing danger, but also for recognizing what has been sent to lift you up, to walk with you, and to draw you closer to me. You must understand that your spirit has walked through many seasons without your awareness. There were seasons where you walked in light without realizing you were being guided by my hand. There were other seasons where you walked through darkness and thought you had been abandoned, when in truth I was shielding you from things your eyes were not ready to see. Now that you have grown, I am opening a higher realm of awareness so that you do not live merely under my protection, but also in the wisdom that flows from your union with the Holy Spirit. There are things you once ignored that you will now see clearly. A seemingly harmless word may carry a strange wind that unsettles your heart. A story may sound reasonable, yet deep within you feel a quiet voice whisper, "Be careful." This is not your mind being suspicious. It is your soul awakening. For many years I have spoken to you this way, but at that time you could not distinguish my voice from your own anxiety. Now, as the light grows within your spirit, you will recognize the difference between the confusion of the flesh and the warning of the spirit. Worry unsettles you. Warning awakens you. I want you to see that this awakening is not given, so you may scrutinize everyone, but so you may protect yourself with love and sincerity. A person mature in discernment is not someone who doubts everyone from a distance, but someone who can walk close to anyone with peace in their heart. For they know they are walking in the light, and light does not make them fear the world. It helps them see the world clearly. They do not need brick walls around their heart. They simply keep the door with wisdom. And when you discern in this way, you will no longer be swept into the drama, emotions, promises, or manipulations of others. You will not be pulled into the confusion others bring, whether intentionally or unintentionally. You will guard your peace as someone guards a lantern in the night, steady, unshaken, yet always watchful. This awakening also helps you see yourself. When light shines into the soul, it does not only illuminate the path ahead, it reveals the parts within you that you have never noticed. It exposes the hidden corners you once avoided, secret fears, unhealed wounds, beliefs bent by past pain. Not to condemn you, but to heal you. Not to shame you, but to set you free. For no one can discern the outer world while the inner world remains clouded. The light I give is not only the light that guides, it is the light that transforms. When you allow me to shine within you, fear gives way to gentleness, chaos gives way to peace, and strength rises where weakness once stood. When your inner being is healed, your discernment becomes pure. You no longer judge others through the lens of your wounds. You no longer misinterpret intentions because of old fears. You no longer see life through distorted perspectives shaped by pain. Your soul becomes aligned with me, and your discernment becomes the discernment of a soul healed by love. This kind of discernment never hardens you. It clarifies you. It does not isolate you. It helps you choose the right people to draw close. It does not make you suspicious. It makes you steadfast. I teach you discernment not only to recognize what is harmful, but more importantly, to recognize what is truly good. In a world where many things appear bright, yet lack true roots, I want you to recognize what carries my breath. You must learn to recognize those I send, the circumstances I open, and the doors I prepare for you. Without discernment, you might overlook the most precious gifts simply because they come in humble form. Sometimes the ones I send speak a few words. Sometimes opportunity comes without trumpet sound. Sometimes a door opens without grandeur. But my peace will testify within you. And that peace will tell you, this is the way, walk in it. As you live awake, you will begin to see that what seems like coincidence is not coincidence at all. Unexpected meetings, timely words, sudden shifts that reroute your path all bear my fingerprints. A person without discernment calls it luck. A soul with open eyes calls it guidance. I want you to recognize my guidance in the smallest details, for when you see my hand in the little things, you will trust my hand in the great things. My beloved child, discernment also helps you stand firm in moments when you are not understood. There will be times when you sense something is not right, yet others will not understand you, even accuse you of being too sensitive. But I say, do not let the opinions of people drown out my voice within you. When I stir your spirit, even if no one understands, hold on to it. Some things can only be heard by you because only you are positioned to hear them. Remember Joseph and his dreams. Others did not understand, they even opposed him, but that did not make the dream any less true. What I show you will not always be validated by others. But if I confirm it with peace in your heart, trust that you are not walking the wrong path. Discernment is not a privilege for a select few. It is an inheritance for all who desire to walk close to me. Every soul can receive this guidance if they are willing to listen. You do not need perfection to discern. You need sincerity. You need willingness. You need a heart quiet enough for the light to spread. And when that light spreads, you will know you have entered a new season, a season of deeper perception of revelations you once could not understand. You will no longer be carried by the praise or criticism of others. You will no longer be shaken by human inconsistency. You will stand firm in what I have planted within you. This is the strength of a soul that has awakened. My beloved child, a soul without boundaries is like a beautiful garden without a fence. Its flowers may bloom radiantly, but any foot may trample them. Its trees may bear fruit, but those with misguided intentions may enter freely without resistance. I do not intend for your soul to become an open field for every kind of seed. I want you to guard your inner being the way a wise gardener protects what is most precious, with carefulness shaped by love. Sacred boundaries are not distance, nor are they coldness. They are the line between what I have placed within you and what does not belong to you. They are the limits that prevent harmful things from intruding, and the open gates through which what comes from me may enter. A person without boundaries may be kind, but such kindness can easily become an open door for opportunists. A person with proper boundaries can still love, but their love has order, clarity, and self-respect. This clarity not only protects you from harm, but keeps you from wandering into paths that lead you away from the direction I have set for your life. Your heart was not designed to receive every word, every emotion, or every energy from those you encounter. Some people come with purity, and your soul can open wide to receive them. But others carry chaos, and if you cannot recognize it, they may plant seeds in your heart that were never meant to take root. Your spiritual boundaries are the protection against those seeds. This is not suspicion, it is self-governance. It is not fear, it is honoring what I have entrusted to you. As you learn to protect yourself with wisdom, you will realize something you once misunderstood. Opening your heart fully is not a sign of love, it is a sign of lack of discernment. True love knows when to open and when to close. Even I, the one who loves without limit, have a door for people to knock upon, boundaries the enemy cannot cross, and sacred spaces reserved only for those who honor my presence. So when you establish boundaries for yourself, you are not acting contrary to me. You are reflecting my wisdom. There are people I permit to enter your life to strengthen you, but there are also people I have not sent, those who come because they see the light in you and hope to benefit from it. Do not be surprised by this. Light always attracts, but not everyone drawn to the light loves the light. Some come only to warm themselves, but have no desire to become light. Some approach to partake of the blessings I have placed upon you, and some are drawn to your radiance, yet carry intentions that would dim it. If you have no boundaries, you will let them enter places that do not belong to them. But when you have sacred boundaries, you can interact without being absorbed. You can love without being wounded. You can help without being drained. You become like a tree planted by streams of water, unmoved by the wind, not withered by human inconsistency, with roots always anchored in my true life source. I teach you this not so you will live withdrawn, but so you may live whole. The stronger you are within your boundaries, the freer you are in love. A heart without offense fears being hurt and therefore closes itself. But a heart with right boundaries does not fear being hurt and therefore can open freely. This is why I want you to build sacred boundaries, so you may love in healthy ways, help with wisdom, and guard your soul against subtle intrusions. The chaos of others does not always have the right to enter your space. You are allowed to say no without feeling unkind. You are allowed to remain silent when others demand your words. You are allowed to create distance without carrying guilt. These are not acts of selfishness. They are acts of faithfulness to the path I am leading you on. A soul that guards its peace can carry peace to others, but a soul stretched open without limit becomes a victim of strange winds seeking shelter within it. When you build proper boundaries, you do not only protect yourself, you protect what I have placed within you, your spiritual sensitivity, your inner intuition, your deep peace, and the inward voice that comes from me. These things are easily blurred when you allow disruptive influences to enter without discernment. If you open your doors carelessly, your discernment will be drowned by the noise of others. But if you keep your heart like land untouched by careless footsteps, you will clearly hear my voice in every step you take. Child, there will be times when I ask you to step back from someone not because they are entirely harmful, but because they are not the person I have designated for this season. Some carry an energy that does not align with the path you are walking. Some come only to test your heart, not to walk alongside you. Some enter to learn something for themselves, not to tie your life into their orbit. Boundaries help you maintain freedom in these interactions. They allow you to love without being ensnared, to show kindness without being exploited, to open your heart without losing your center. My beloved child, I want you to remember that your sacred boundaries must be built through peace, not fear. If you close your heart because of pain that is not a boundary, it is an unhealed wound. But if you set a boundary because you know your worth, that is wisdom. If you distance yourself from someone because you fear deception, that is an emotional reaction. But if you keep your distance because I do not confirm their presence in your life, that is obedience. Sacred boundaries are not walls, they are doors. A door can open, but only to what is right. Once your soul has learned to build these sacred boundaries, the next step I want to teach you is how to recognize sources of influence, the invisible currents, quietly entering your inner world. Each time you meet someone, hear a word or step into a certain environment. For people do not exchange things only through words, they exchange through spirit, through motives, and through what they carry within. Some speak very little, yet the influence they leave in your heart is unmistakably strong. Others speak endlessly, yet their souls are empty, carrying no life. Discernment helps you see the nature of these currents, so you are never deceived by external impressions. Every person who comes near you carries an atmosphere, not a physical atmosphere, but a spiritual one. It is the air surrounding them, a kind of energy shaped by the thoughts they nurture, the choices they have lived through, and the things they hide or reveal. This is something the physical eye cannot see, but a sensitive soul perceives clearly. Have you ever met someone and within seconds, you knew whether they carried peace or chaos? It was not what they said, it was the atmosphere around them touching your soul. That, my child, is what I want you to discern with clarity. My beloved, there are people who carry an atmosphere as gentle as early morning. When they draw near, their presence calms your heart, deepens your breath, and settles your spirit in a quiet peace. They do not need to speak. Their stillness speaks for them. This is the sign of those who walk in the light, souls with steady inner worlds whose lives flow with the life I have placed within them. Their presence is not something they manufacture. It is the natural fragrance of a heart aligned with me. When you meet them, your soul will sense it immediately, the way a tree recognizes water without being taught. But there are also people who carry a heavy atmosphere, not because they intend harm, but because their souls are crowded with unresolved things, envy, fear, bitterness, or hidden agendas they cannot fully conceal. When they arrive, you feel a subtle weight, like an unfamiliar wind that does not match the spiritual climate of your heart. They may speak sweetly, yet their sweetness does not touch your spirit. They may smile warmly, but the warmth never reaches beyond their face. You find that you cannot relax around them, not because you lack love, but because your soul is recognizing something that does not align with truth. Do not ignore such quiet signals. Many have fallen because they chose to believe pleasant appearances instead of the truth stirred by the Holy Spirit within them. I do not want you to follow that path. What I give you is not eyesight for outward appearance, but an ear for the inner voice. When your soul whispers, "Something is not right, you must listen," that is not unloving judgment, it is my protective whisper. There are people who do not intend clear harm, yet their lives carry chaos. If you do not discern this, you may unintentionally allow that chaos to spill into your heart, leaving you tired, drained, or confused. This is why I want you to know clearly that not everyone should enter the center of your life. Some should remain in the outer circle. Some may come closer but cannot step into the sacred places of your inner being. You must assign the right place to every person, instead of allowing others to decide their place in your life. There are also those whose influence is subtle. Outwardly, they appear enthusiastic. Their words flow smoothly, their ideas sound convincing. Yet behind these layers lie intentions that you perceive but cannot articulate with logic. That is when you must listen to my voice. I not only teach you to sense the atmosphere around a person, but also to perceive the atmosphere of their heart. Some can disguise their true nature, but they cannot hide the energy they carry. People may judge by appearance, but I judge by origin. And when I open your eyes to see origin, you will no longer fear being deceived. Remember this: whatever comes from me will carry peace before it appears during its presence and after it leaves. If peace disappears when someone departs, it means they carried something that did not belong to your spirit. If peace returns stronger when distance is created, that is a confirmation louder than any explanation. Discernment does not occur only during the interaction, it continues afterward. If you feel your soul unsettled, drained, or as though you must gather back pieces of your peace, do not overlook it. Fatigue after a conversation is not always physical. Sometimes it is the soul defending itself against incompatible spiritual currents. A seemingly ordinary interaction that leaves you troubled for hours is never harmless. I want you to learn to examine every subtle impact upon your spirit. Ask yourself, did this give me peace or take peace away? After being around this person, is my heart clearer or more confused? Did their words carry life, or did they make me shrink inside? Did their presence draw me closer to my Lord, or pull me away from His nearness? These questions are not for judging others, they are for protecting the sacred ground within you. When you correctly identify the source of influence, whether good or harmful, you will no longer be surprised by the shifts in your heart. You will know the cause, know the right response, and remain anchored in peace. Because nothing can penetrate the life of a soul guarded by light. My beloved child, when you have learned to identify currents of influence and to build sacred boundaries, the next step in your journey of maturity is learning how to face things without being swept into them, how to stand among many different energies while keeping the center of your inner being steady. This is an essential skill of mature souls, those who refuse to let the external world shape them, but instead use their inner peace to shape the atmosphere around them. You must understand that the world is full of invisible collisions. Some people bring peace, others bring turmoil. Some cause your heart to expand, others cause it to shrink. But the most important thing is not who comes near it, is who you become when they do. A soul without firm roots is like a young sapling swayed in every direction by the wind. A single remark can unsettle them. A small negative attitude can throw them into confusion. But the soul matured in discernment is different. They are like a great tree standing in the storm, seeing everything, hearing everything, yet allowing nothing to occupy their inner position. Such steadiness does not come naturally. It is formed through moments of facing things directly, moments of holding peace while others lose their calm, moments of staying still when others try to pull you into the whirlpool of their energy. You must understand a simple yet powerful principle. Whoever controls the center of a conversation controls the atmosphere of it. A person with a steady spirit brings stability into any space. A person with a restless spirit spreads restlessness through words and emotions. Therefore, when you step into an interaction, you must choose to enter it with peace, not allowing others to shape the atmosphere themselves. Peace is not weak silence. It is the strength that forces every other energy to yield. Many sensitive souls mistakenly believe that compassion means carrying the emotions of others. But I tell you that such a belief is not love, it is lack of discernment. You can listen without absorbing. You can understand without being overshadowed. You can empathize without allowing their confusion to seep into your inner being. This is only possible when you allow my peace to become the armor that covers your spirit. Sometimes others do not intend to disturb you. They simply carry unresolved things within themselves. But their lack of intention does not mean you must allow those things to influence you. A cold wind may not intend harm, but if you are not clothed, you will still fall ill. A soul carrying chaos is the same, a cold wind. They do not always mean harm, but if you are unguarded, you will be shaken. This is why I teach you to stand firm, refusing to let their turmoil claim space within you. Remember Joseph standing before the very brothers who sold him away. He did not tremble, nor did he allow bitterness to take over his heart. He stood among them as a man who had grown, one who understood that true strength does not come from striking back, but from holding peace and seeing my purpose in everything. His steadiness caused his brothers to tremble, not because he raised his voice, but because he stood in a light they could not reach. This is your example of the power of an unmoved soul. My child, you will meet those who try to impose their emotions on you. Some speak unsettling things just to provoke a reaction. Some use their stories like hooks, pulling you into their chaos. Some use their complaints to force you into a role you were never called to carry. But I say to you, you were not born to be dragged. You were born to stand, to shine, to guard your sacred inner peace. My beloved, if someone tries to push you into a space of panic, you do not need to argue or win the conversation. Simply stand in calmness, and the entire atmosphere will shift. This is the power of a soul led by the Spirit. They do not react according to another person's emotions, but according to their own inner peace. When you refuse to be pulled in, the other person will be forced to adjust. When you hold your peace, they will lower their voice. When you do not waver, their chaos cannot escalate. Not every battle requires words. In many situations, silence is the strongest form of wisdom. Silence is not surrender. It is refusal to invest your energy in fruitless chaos. Silence is guarding your inner space from unnecessary draining. Silence is honoring your own soul and honoring my timing. A soul that knows how to stay silent at the right moment is a strong soul. They do not need to speak to prove understanding. They do not need to argue to defend what is right. They know that what comes from me will stand on its own, and what is not from me will collapse by itself. The silence of a mature soul is not neglect. It is surrender to me, trusting that I will handle what you do not need to handle, my beloved child. You are not responsible for the inner state of others. You are responsible for the state of your own soul. If you try to repair every soul you meet, you will burn out. If you try to bring light into places where I have not called you, your flame will diminish. If you try to bring peace to those who refuse to receive it, your balance will be shaken. You may sow seeds, but only I can make them grow. Therefore, when you face complex souls, hold firmly to these three things: your peace, your boundaries, and your purpose. You are not permitted to lose any of these because of anyone, no matter how desperate they appear to be. Discernment teaches you who needs your companionship, who only needs your ear, who requires distance, and who you must walk away from without looking back. When you learn the art of facing without absorbing, you will step into a new level of freedom, a freedom built not on outward strength but on inner peace, a freedom that lets you stand in the storm and yet remain unshaken, a freedom that allows you to love without the fear of being wounded, a freedom strong enough to reach others without losing yourself. Discernment is not merely the ability to recognize what is wrong. More importantly, it is the ability to recognize my voice within the countless tones of life. For once you know my voice, every other voice becomes easy to distinguish. Once you become familiar with my presence, every imitation becomes foreign. Once you know the rhythm of my heart, no lie can deceive you. This is why I am leading you into the next stage of maturity, learning to recognize my voice amid the noise of the world. My beloved, my voice is unlike the voices of the world. I do not shout to be heard. I do not push my way forward for attention. I do not force myself to exist. My voice comes like breath, like water flowing softly through a stream, like gentle light breaking through the night. Yet this gentleness carries the power to strip every falsehood bare, not because it is loud, but because it is true, and truth, no matter how soft, tears through darkness. I once told Elijah that I was not in the wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire, but in the gentle whisper. Why did my voice choose such a quiet form? Because to hear it, you must become still. You must quiet your inner storms. You must lay down your assumptions. You must step away from the noise of the outer world and return to the inner space where your soul and I meet. This is why superficial souls never hear my voice, but those who seek stillness hear me in every breath. My voice is never like the voice of fear. Fear urges you to act impulsively, tightens your chest, and grips your heart like an invisible rope. But my voice never pushes you into hurry. My voice leads you into peace, not panic. My voice brings clarity, not confusion. My voice brings gentleness, not heaviness. Therefore, any voice that makes you tremble, lose peace, or rush into decisions is not from me. Sometimes my voice comes as a soft intuition, a sense of this is right or this is not right, which you cannot explain with logic. This is not natural instinct, but the imprint of the Holy Spirit moving within you. As you walk closer to me, this intuition will sharpen like a double-edged sword, dividing truth from falsehood. Many times, you will have no information, no evidence, and no visible reason, yet your heart knows, and it knows deeply, unmistakably. I also speak through peace. A decision from me will carry a gentle peace, even if circumstances have not changed. In contrast, a decision not from me will feel like swimming against the current. This sign is extremely important, my child, because many people enter beautiful situations outwardly, but feel a subtle unease within, and they ignore it. They call it overthinking, but it is my voice. I stir their hearts not to frighten them, but to protect them from unnecessary harm. My beloved, I also speak through repetition, through subtle confirmations woven into your daily life. When I want you to know something, you will encounter it repeatedly in prayer, in a passing comment, in an unexpected situation, in a quiet tug that lingers throughout the day. Do not call these coincidences. Nothing is coincidental for the soul I am leading. Every repetition is a message. Every reminder is a sign. I do not speak without purpose, but my voice does not come only when you seek me. It also comes when you stray from the path. Not to condemn you, but to bring you back. When you are about to enter a harmful connection, I place uneasiness in your heart. When you are drawn to someone's sweet words, I let your soul feel empty. When you place your trust where it does not belong, I give you a sense of uncertainty. This is the protection only those who listen can receive. One of the most important aspects of discernment, my child, is learning to distinguish my voice from the voice of fear and the echoes of your past. Fear shouts, but I whisper. Memory reminds you of pain, but I remind you of truth. Fear tells you to close yourself off, but I tell you to open at the right time. Fear tells you to distrust everyone, but I teach you to choose the right ones. Memory tells you to avoid, but I teach you to walk with wisdom. Remember, my child, my voice always carries certain marks: gentle yet powerful, soft yet weighty, peaceful yet sharp, loving yet uncompromising, tender yet never vague. A soul that knows how to listen to my voice will never be led into traps. They hear me before they hear others. They listen to me before trusting their emotions. They follow me before following outward impressions. And this is what I want you to become. I want my voice to be the most familiar sound in your life. I want you to recognize it even in the noisiest moments. I want you to hear it in the most complicated relationships. I want you to sense it even in the situations that once felt unclear. For when my voice becomes your guiding light, you will never take a wrong step. Never. My beloved child, after you begin to recognize my voice in gentleness and peace, I want to lead you into the next step, a subtle yet profoundly important step, learning to distinguish my voice from the voice of your own desires, the voice of others, and the whispers of shadows hidden in your past memories. This is the higher realm of discernment, where your soul no longer lives by shifting emotions, but by the clarity and stability of a spirit refined in my presence. You must understand that many voices exist within every human being. One voice emerges from the desires of the ego, the part that longs to be approved, to be loved, to feel safe. Another voice arises from fear, always overwarning, always exaggerating danger, always recalling past failures to keep you in familiar territory. Then there is the voice of woundedness, the fragile, bitter tone that views everything through the lens of unhealed hurts. These voices are not evil, but they are not me. They are the voices of places within you that are in need of healing. And then there is the voice that comes from the world, the voice of people's opinions, the voice of heavy expectations, the voice of comparison, the voice of comments you once endured in silence. Some voices come from friends, from family, from those with good intentions who still do not understand you. And some come from those whose intentions are not pure, who use advice like ropes to pull you into their orbit. These voices, loud or subtle, are not mine. Discernment is not only recognizing what is wrong on the outside, but also recognizing what does not belong to me on the inside. Many people can identify an enemy approaching from afar, but cannot recognize the whisper of fear that speaks inside them every day. Many can avoid the deception of others, but fall into traps built by their own unprocessed emotions. This is why I bring you into this stage, the stage of purification. My voice never blends with the voice of fear. Fear always speaks loudly. My voice always speaks softly. Fear makes your heart shrink. My voice opens it. Fear steals your sleep. My voice lets you rest. Fear pushes you into rushed decisions. My voice teaches you to wait in peace. When you cannot distinguish the two, you will mistake your own panic for my warning. But if you allow me to refine you, you will see the sharp difference between warning and fear. Warning carries clarity, fear carries confusion. Warning makes you alert, fear makes you scattered. Warning draws you closer to me, fear drives you farther from me. One of the greatest challenges of discernment is recognizing when you are hearing echoes from old memories. Some things no longer belong in your life, yet their emotional imprint lingers like scratches on your soul. When you approach something that resembles an old wound memory, speaks, "Don't trust, run. This is dangerous." But my voice is different. I do not remind you through pain. I remind you through truth. I do not guide you through woundedness. I guide you through healing. Many souls fail to see this and avoid opportunities I send simply because they resemble things from the past. But I do not want your old memories to become your teacher. I want to be your teacher. Sometimes my whisper will contradict your current emotions. You may see someone who seems very kind, but I stir your spirit. Be careful. You may want to draw close, but I say, watch. You may feel that an opportunity is exciting, but I say, do not rush. My voice never follows your emotions, nor does it follow your desires. My voice is truth, truth higher than feeling. This is why when you walk closely with me, you will notice your soul being led not by what you want, but by what is right. There will also be times when you hear the voice of subtle temptation. It does not come as a frightening shadow, but as a pleasant invitation, as an easy joy, as an opportunity that requires no cost, as a relationship that tempts you to loosen your principles. That voice never speaks through peace. It speaks through haste and momentary excitement. It makes you forget your true values, forget what I have taught you, forget the path of light. But if you listen deeply, you will notice a slight imbalance within a sense that something is incomplete. That imbalance is the signal of discernment. My beloved child, sometimes my voice comes through silence. When you hear nothing, feel nothing, and see no clear path, do not be afraid. Silence does not mean I have left you. It is how I protect you from rushing. Often silence is the loudest message. When I am silent, I am inviting you closer, not through action, but through stillness. In stillness, you hear your own voice more clearly, and when your voice becomes quiet, mine becomes pure. My child, to fully distinguish my voice, you must learn to filter every inner sound through these three lenses. 1. The lens of truth. My voice never contradicts the truth I have already revealed. Truth does not shift with emotion. 2. The lens of peace. My voice always carries peace even in the midst of difficulty. Peace is not comfort, peace is depth. 3. The lens of fruit. My voice produces maturity, clarity, and steadiness. If a voice leads you into exhaustion, panic, or continuous doubt, it is not mine. When you learn to recognize my voice in every breath, you will enter a new depth of discernment. Every decision becomes clear. Every relationship becomes easier to perceive. Every path becomes illuminated. And you will no longer fear stepping wrongly, because you will know my hand is guiding you each step of the way. My child, once you have learned to distinguish my voice from the chaos of other voices, I want you to step into a deeper level where discernment no longer happens only in important moments, but becomes the daily rhythm of your soul. Discernment is not an occasional action. It is a way of breathing a continual flow, an unbroken connection between your heart and my voice. One who lives in discernment is not someone who asks me only during crises, but someone who keeps their heart in a constant posture of listening. I do not speak only in moments of major decisions. I also speak in the smallest things, in the glance of someone passing by, in the slight shift of atmosphere, in the delicate vibrations that only a sensitive spirit perceives. These small things are the building blocks of strong discernment. If you seek me only in big moments, you will struggle to hear me in life's noise. But if you seek me in the small moments, you will hear me clearly even in the storm. Discernment becomes a lifestyle when you begin to walk in awareness, not only awareness of the world, but awareness of your own spirit. A soul that walks awake does not let itself drift into emotional fog. It keeps its inner world as clear as a still lake. When the heart is clear, even the smallest impurity becomes visible. This is why I invite you into the space of spiritual awareness. It is the foundation that allows discernment to become effortless. But awareness is not always easy. You may be distracted by work, by pressure, by the demands of others. There are moments when your spirit feels like a drop of oil dissolved in a vast sea of water. But I tell you, you do not need to strain yourself to stay awake. You simply need to return. Return to me in moments of quiet. Return to your breath. Return to the peace I placed deep within you. When you return, awareness restores itself naturally. My beloved child, for discernment to become a way of life, you must learn to move slowly in your spirit, no matter how fast the world runs. The world rushes according to the voice of urgency, but those who belong to me walk according to the rhythm of peace. Peace is not slow, it is precise. Peace does not delay, it leads at the right moment. Peace does not panic, it illuminates clearly. When you align yourself with that rhythm, you will find that life is no longer as tangled as before. Everything becomes transparent, every turn easier to see, every relationship easier to read at its true depth. You cannot allow a thought to run too far without examining its source. You cannot allow a feeling to spread without asking, where did this come from? And you cannot allow someone's words to shake you without bringing them into my light. When you bring everything before me, what is true will stand, what is false will dissolve, what is counterfeit will be exposed, and what is real will shine. Light does not need to strive to reveal the dark. Light only needs to be present. A soul that walks in light is a soul that does not accumulate inner clutter. They deal with each thing as soon as it appears. When someone says something that unsettles you, you do not ignore it and let it take root. You bring it to the light. When you feel yourself being drawn towards someone too quickly, you do not allow the pull to overshadow truth. You lay it before me. When something feels out of place, you do not force yourself to overlook it. You listen to that signal. This is how discernment becomes part of who you are, not just a skill you use. There are people who speak beautifully, yet their words carry no life. There are those who say little, yet their presence enlightens your spirit. When discernment becomes a lifestyle, you are no longer fascinated by talent, eloquence, or appearances. You see with the eyes of the soul. You will know who approaches with purity, who approaches with ambition, who comes with envy, who comes with a sincere heart. No one can hide their true nature from someone who walks in light, for light not only illuminates the path, it illuminates the person. My beloved child, discernment becomes a way of life when you learn to stop at the right moment. There are invitations that look very appealing, yet you sense a gentle hesitation within. That is the sign I place to protect you. There are doors that appear to be right, yet peace does not follow you into them. You must learn to stop the moment you sense that. Stopping is not losing an opportunity. Stopping is avoiding a trap. Some people want you to move quickly so they can claim you before you have time to consider. But you are not allowed to rush simply because they urge you. Discernment teaches you to move at my pace, not theirs. When discernment becomes your lifestyle, you not only avoid harm but recognize blessings at the right time. There are people I send whose very presence carries peace, and you recognize immediately that they belong to your journey. There are doors that open, and your whole being fills with clarity. There are moments when you know what is coming is not random, but an answer I prepared long ago. Discernment helps you recognize not only what to avoid, but what to embrace. When you live in discernment, you move like one holding a lamp in the night. No matter how dark the surroundings, you always see where to step. Such a person no longer fears being wrong, no longer feels confused, no longer stumbles. You will stand firm in every circumstance because you do not walk alone. I walk with you, I speak to you, I guide you, I keep you from error. And discernment ceases to be a burden, it becomes a privilege. My beloved child, so many of life's turning points do not come from external circumstances, but from the people who enter or leave your life. Your path can advance or be diverted not only because of your decisions, but because of the souls you allow near you. I want you to understand that a relationship is not merely a connection between two people. It is the meeting of two atmospheres, two souls, two streams of influence. And that place of intersection can become a field of growth or a field of confusion. Not all relationships are the same. Some I send like cool breezes that refresh your soul. They come with a gentle presence, demanding nothing, creating no pressure. They walk beside you, not overshadowing you, not manipulating you, not pulling you off the path I set for you. When they speak, their words do not frighten, rush, or overwhelm you. They bring you back to yourself more clearly. These are the ones I send as gifts. You will recognize them because they do not drain your soul. They lift you, understand you, illuminate you. There are other relationships that do not come with evil intent, but carry unresolved inner turmoil. When they approach, you will feel a mild whirl of wind entering your spirit. They may care for you, but they do not know how to love in a healthy way. They want to be close to you, yet they bring wounds that without discernment will cling to you. They arrive with insecurity and unconsciously seek an anchor in you. These relationships are not driven by malice, but by immaturity. Without boundaries, you will end up carrying what never belonged to you. I must also speak to you about a more subtle kind of relationship, those who are attracted to the light in you, not to honor it, but to benefit from it. They may say things that make you feel valued. They may appear to understand you deeply, but they seek not you, but something they believe you can give. Beneath tender words lies a desire to attach themselves to the blessing you carry. These are the relationships which, if you do not discern, you will allow to enter places they were never meant to enter. My beloved child, discernment in relationships is not suspicion, it is recognizing the origin of every approach. Some come because I send them, some come because their instinct draws them toward light. Some come because their inner lack searches for a resting place. Some come with worldly agendas, and some come with the subtle infiltration of darkness. Discernment helps you place the right people in the right positions. For the danger is not that they come close, but that they stand in the wrong place in your life. A soul without discernment often allows others to enter the central place too quickly. Just a few compliments, a bit of early familiarity, and they open their hearts so wide that no boundary remains within. But you must not be like that. Your heart is the sacred ground where I place my presence. Whoever steps into the place close to your heart must be someone whose life bears the fruit of truth, not the fruit of fleeting emotion. I want you to learn 3 layers of discernment in relationships. The first layer, discern the presence. Ask yourself, does this person bring peace or chaos? Does your spirit expand or contract when they draw near? Does the atmosphere around you become lighter or heavier? This alone already reveals so much. The second layer, discern the motive. Not by their words, but by the fruit of their soul. Do they come to give or to take? Do they come to build or to cling? Do they come to walk with you or to anchor themselves into you? Do they come because they love the light or because they want to benefit from the light? The third layer, discern the influence. Pay attention. After they leave, do you feel stronger or weaker? Is your vision clearer or more clouded? Do you feel closer to me or farther from me? No one can hide their true influence for long. What their presence brings will speak the truth on its own. Some relationships come like spring and leave like a gentle breeze. These are people I send for a season, not for a lifetime. You must know when a season has ended, so you do not cling to what I have already closed. Others I send for a longer journey, imperfect perhaps, but sincere, not supernatural, but faithful. These are relationships with roots, and those roots will strengthen your life. But I must warn you, there are relationships you must keep at a distance, even though you love them, not because they are evil, but because they are not aligned with your calling. Some relationships pull you downward not intentionally, but because they have not yet learned to stand on their own feet. If you try to rescue them when I have not called you to do so, you will be pulled into waters you were not designed to walk in. Discernment in relationships is not about choosing who is good or bad. It is about choosing who belongs to the path you are walking. The journey I have prepared for you is sacred, purposeful, radiant. Not everyone is mature enough or clean enough in soul to walk with you into the places I have prepared. I teach you this not to make you cold, but to make you wise and healthy. Love does not mean abandoning boundaries. True love establishes boundaries so that life can flow safely. When you discern correctly in relationships, you will walk lightly through life. You will no longer be wounded by unexpected betrayal, no longer exhausted by those who drain your energy, no longer misled by faulty advice. You will clearly see who I sent to lift you up, who is simply passing through your life, and who must be kept at a sacred distance. And when you place the right people in the right places, you will experience peace overflowing, like living water streaming endlessly through your inner being. My beloved child, as I lead you deeper into the art of discerning relationships, I want you to understand that between people, there is not only speech, smiles, or physical presence, but also invisible streams of influence, spiritual currents, brushing against each other as gently as wind and as swiftly as lightning. These currents can lift you or pull you downward in an instant, and because they are invisible, only awakened souls recognize them. Some people step near and your heart opens as if a door inside you is gently pushed ajar. They do not need to speak much. Their mere presence brightens the atmosphere. They carry life, freshness, honesty, and energy that does no harm. They do not come to take anything from you. They come to offer quietness. When you stand near them, you feel your burdens lighten, not because they remove them, but because they do not add to them. This is a key sign of someone who carries healthy influence. Your heart does not tighten or sink. But there are others who approach, and the atmosphere around them feels like a subtle whirlwind. When they speak, nothing is wrong in the wording, yet your soul hears a foreign vibration. When they smile, the smile does not reach their eyes. When they compliment you, the praise does not carry the breath of edification, but feels as though they are probing. You may not be able to name anything concrete, but your heart knows. That is where discernment begins its work. Discernment in relationships is not based on what people say, but on the spiritual atmosphere they carry. Some carry lightness, others carry heaviness. Some carry purity, others carry confusion. These things can never be hidden forever. Those who pretend peace eventually reveal the tremor of their inner instability. Those who pretend love eventually reveal demandingness. Those who pretend loyalty eventually reveal inconsistency. The true nature of their spiritual vibration will always find its way to the surface. Therefore, you must learn to listen not only with your ears, but with your spirit. I do not teach you to read sentences. I teach you to read the atmosphere of another soul, not so that you may judge, but so that you may interact from the right distance. Some people deserve a wide open heart. Others deserve only a small opening. Some you may trust. Others you should give only kindness. Some you must keep at a distance, not because they are bad, but because their current flow does not align with where you are heading. One of the most dangerous types of influence is not open opposition, but gentle infiltration. Some approach you with excessive concern. They ask repeatedly, want to know your thoughts, seek access to your inner world, try to stand in your sacred space before they have earned the right to enter. Such concern, though seemingly harmless, may be the subtle key they use to unlock the door of your heart. If you are not careful, you will mistake concern for sincerity. But you must remember, not everyone deserves the key to your inner world. Those I have not sent often rush the process. They want closeness, immediately want your secrets, want emotional attachment. Not because they love you, but because they fear that if you have time to discern, you will recognize something that does not align. But those who come from me never hurry. True love is never in haste. True trust is never rushed. Genuine relationships never demand that you open your heart instantly. They grow naturally, gently, and in order. There are also those who carry an influence colored by comparison. When they draw near you, they do not truly desire to rejoice with you. They want to measure you. They will praise you only to observe your reaction. They will ask about your achievements so they can weigh them against their own. Their presence makes you feel slightly tense, slightly withdrawn, slightly guarded. This is a clear signal that this person does not carry the purity of love but the shadow of competition, a subtle influence that can suffocate your joy if you do not recognize it early. And then there are those who carry the influence of unhealthy pity. They come with a gentle exterior, but that gentleness makes you smaller, makes you dependent, makes you feel as if you must always need them. This is not support. This is entanglement. They want you to be attached to them through weakness, not through maturity. I do not want you to connect in such a way. I want you to have relationships that build you up, not relationships that push you down so they can feel taller. I teach you discernment so you can recognize truth in the very first vibrations. You do not need evidence. You do not need to analyze every action. You only need to listen to your soul when it brushes against another soul. A soul led by me will speak a very clear language. This person is safe, or be careful, or keep your distance. Discernment in relationships is not coldness. It is a healthy choice to protect you from unnecessary entanglements. Discernment in relationships is not suspicion. It is respect. Respect for yourself and for the calling upon your life. Discernment in relationships is not hardness of heart. It is the wisdom of someone who knows the value of their spirit. My beloved child, after I teach you to discern presence, evaluate motive, and recognize invisible influence, I must lead you into the most important part of navigating relationships, the art of closing doors and letting go at the right time. Because discernment does not only help you see who people are, it helps you know when a door needs to close, when a bond must be released, and when a step must turn away, so your soul is not pulled away from the light. Many souls can discern, but they do not know how to let go. They recognize that a connection has become toxic, has drained them, has pulled them away from me, yet they do not leave. They stay because they fear hurting the other person. They stay because they hope something will change. They stay out of a misplaced sense of responsibility. But my child, kindness is not staying in what is harming your spirit. True kindness is stepping out with compassion and placing that relationship into my hands where I can deal with it in ways you cannot. Letting go is not failure. Letting go is not a lack of love. Letting go is not abandonment. Letting go is recognizing the divine boundary. Some relationships have fulfilled their purpose for a season. At a certain point, you and they no longer walk in the same direction, not because one is right and one is wrong, but because the journey has shifted. If you cling to them, your steps grow heavy. If you cling to a season that has ended, your hands cannot receive the new one. One of the greatest signs of maturity is being able to say goodbye without bitterness or regret. I teach you the art of closing doors, not to make you cold, but to make you free. My child, there are relationships you must walk away from, even when you do not feel fully ready. Not because you do not love them, but because they no longer align with the path I have set before you. They pull you into conversations that cloud your mind. They make you doubt yourself. They require you to shrink your soul in order to fit them. I do not want you living in such connections, for they dim the light you carry. They cause you to forget my calling. They anchor you into smallness. There are those who come close simply to see how far they can sway you. When they realize you are not easily influenced, they show disappointment or distance. Do not let this wound you. They are not leaving because you did something wrong. They are leaving because their intentions did not succeed. They cannot stay because their hearts were not pure to begin with. If you try to hold on to them through sadness, you invite darkness back into your life. Let them go, for their departure is my protection. There are also people who must be distanced, not because they are toxic, but because the connection between your souls is quietly pulling you off course in ways neither of you notices. Some relationships make you forget my voice because you hear theirs too loudly. Some people cause you to depend more on their words than on my guidance. Such relationships may be full of affection yet still unfit for your spiritual growth. Letting go in these cases is not rejecting love, it is putting love in its proper place. The art of letting go requires two precious qualities that many lack: compassion toward others and faithfulness toward yourself. Letting go is not cutting someone off in anger. Letting go is closing a door in peace. Letting go is not running away. Letting go is stepping forward in clarity. Letting go is not coldness. Letting go is preserving the purity of the place where I dwell within you. You must learn to let go as a gardener prunes a branch, not because they hate the branch, but because they love the tree. You must learn to let go because you love the life I am shaping within you. I want to teach you how to close doors without carrying darkness with you. This is crucial. Many souls leave relationships but carry bitterness, suspicion, disappointment, fear of betrayal, loss of trust in people. That is not letting go. That is carrying a burden. True letting go is when you walk away with a heart that is not heavy, when you do not replay the story, when you do not blame yourself, when you do not see everyone through the lens of the one who hurt you, when you walk away without closing your heart. The secret to closing a door without carrying darkness is surrender. Not surrendering the person, but surrendering the memories, the emotions, and your part in the story. When you place all of it into my hands, I wash it clean with light, and it no longer casts a shadow over your soul. Every right departure makes room for a right arrival. When you close a door, I no longer bless you. Make way for the door I have prepared for you long before. Not everyone who stays is a blessing. Sometimes the blessing is the one who leaves because they no longer fit your path. Sometimes the most beautiful thing I do is remove someone from your road. And when you keep your heart pure, without resistance, without bitterness, I will bring into your life relationships that are healthy, sincere, unmanipulative, unexploiting, free from comparison, free from jealousy, and free from the demands that require you to shrink your soul. These are the relationships that will lift you like the wings of an eagle, helping you see clearly the path I am unfolding before you. And you will know that every letting go in me always leads to something better. Everything I do moves by seasons, and every season I take you through carries the sound of my guidance. Nothing in your life happens by accident. Every shift, every transition, every door that opens or closes is woven into my deep wisdom. And if you learn to discern the seasons of your life, you will walk lightly and in rhythm, no longer fearing that you will miss what I have for you, and no longer holding on to what I am asking you to release. Life is like a vast forest. Some seasons are lush with green leaves, others are filled with falling foliage. Some seasons reveal bare branches, and others unfold with budding promise. Everything follows the natural rhythm I have set. You never see a tree panic when winter arrives. You never see it cling to its leaves when autumn signals their release. You never see it strain in anxiety when spring calls forth new life. It yields to my guidance in every season. You must be the same. Discernment is the ability to recognize which season stands before you. When you understand the true season, you will not try to do what does not belong to this moment. You will not force yourself to blossom when I am rooting you. You will not try to run when I am inviting you to rest. You will not feel discouraged when I am teaching you patience, and neither will you wait passively when I am urging you forward. There is a season of sowing, the season in which I ask you to invest, to learn, to build, to train, to take root. In this season, you do not see immediate results. You must plant good seeds, even when the surface of the soil shows no sign of change. This time requires faithfulness, not feelings. Your soul will long for instant fruit, but I say continue, cultivate, remain faithful, for what you sow in this season will become your harvest in the future. There is also a season of harvest, the season when promises blossom, when I allow you to step into fullness, when what you faithfully guarded becomes visible. But to recognize the harvest, you must have discernment, so you do not doubt the blessing when it comes. Many see blessing and become afraid because they grew accustomed to lack. But when harvest arrives, you do not need to doubt. You only need to open your hands and receive. Then there is the silent season, the season in which nothing seems to move. No open doors, no fresh words, no clear signs. This season unsettles many because they mistake silence for my absence. But silence, my child, is not abandonment. It is the season where I work beneath the surface. It is the season where I prepare your soul for great movement. Just as roots expand in the winter soil, your spirit is being widened in quietness. Discernment in this season means trusting me even when you see nothing, because my silence is a sacred construction site, unseen by your eyes. There is also the season of testing, the season in which I allow pressure to refine you like gold in fire, not to wound you, but to remove what makes you weak. In this season, I allow you to see yourself what is lacking, what must change, what must be surrendered. Without discernment, you will see testing as punishment. But with discernment, you will recognize it as the furnace that strengthens you. This is the season in which you learn to stand firm, to trust, to keep peace, even when storms rise. One of the most significant seasons is the season of transition, the season in which you leave an old chapter to step into a new one. Many souls stumble here because they sense the change but do not know how to move with it. Transition always begins with a subtle stirring within. What once made sense no longer fits. What once brought joy no longer satisfies. Connections that once felt close begin to drift. Doors that once opened now start to close. This is not loss. It is the sign that I am moving you into a new phase. Discernment in transition means you do not cling to what I am closing, and you do not run from what I am opening. Many fall into one of two errors, clinging to what I have ended or fearing what I am giving. But you must not be like that. I want you to walk gently between both realms, with a heart open to the new and hands released from the old, without carrying the shadow of it with you. My timing is always perfect. If I give too early, it breaks you. If I give too late, it slips away. But I am never too early and never too late. When you move with the right season, everything arrives exactly as flowers bloom in their appointed time. Discernment allows you to recognize my timing in every small step. When to move, when to pause. When to wait, when to release, when to hold, when to be silent, when to speak. Every decision has its sacred timing, and discernment is the key that lets you see that rhythm. When you walk in seasonal discernment, you no longer grow weary from rushing, no longer worry about making mistakes, no longer chase illusions of urgency. You will walk as one who knows where they are, what they are doing, and where they are being led. You will not drown in change. You will glide upon it like an eagle riding the wind. My beloved child, after showing you how to recognize the seasons of life, I want you to learn something even more delicate, how the Holy Spirit fine-tunes your steps within each season. Because life does not only shift between seasons within each season, there are gentle movements, subtle signals, invisible currents through which I guide you day by day. These movements are not loud, not forceful, not overwhelming. They are like a breeze that shifts the direction of a kite, like the slight tilt of a boat responding to its waters. Many look for me only in the grand moments, the great callings, the big turning points, the major decisions. But they forget that my will is woven through the smallest details, a gentle nudge in your spirit, a fleeting warning, a shift that catches your attention, a quiet, prompting an unexplainable unrest, a sudden flow of peace. If you learn to recognize these subtle signals, you will walk in continual guidance, avoiding major mistakes, staying aligned, and no longer having to repair things that should never have happened. The Holy Spirit does not lead only through words, but also through rhythm. There will be days when you sense a strong urging to move quickly, advance, expand, and take action. And there will be days when I place within you an inner slowing, a quieting, an invitation to observe, to wait, to be still. If you ignore that adjustment and follow your own rhythm, you can easily become exhausted or arrive too early or too late. There will be moments when you believe you are ready, but I say, wait. Not because you lack anything, but because the environment around you is not yet prepared for your step. And there will be moments when you feel inadequate, yet I say, now is the time. Not because you are perfect, but because I am perfect. When I bring you to a moment, I always provide enough grace, enough strength, and enough wisdom for you to step into it. Discernment at this level is no longer about identifying who is right or wrong or what to keep or release. This is the discernment of the Spirit's rhythm, like an artist listening to the beat of a drum to remain in harmony with the song. If the artist plays even slightly too fast or too slow, the music loses its beauty. In the same way, if you walk faster or slower than my leading, you will feel weary, discouraged, or confused. Weariness of the soul does not come from having too much to do. It comes from walking out of rhythm. When you run into things I have not yet prepared, you grow tired. When you remain in places I have already closed, you grow tired. When you hold on to what I already asked you to release, you grow tired. When you stay silent in moments I want you to speak, you grow tired. Weariness of the soul is the signal that you need to realign your rhythm with mine, my beloved. I also use peace as a way of adjusting your pace. When you are about to make a decision and peace rises within you like warm flowing water, it is the sign that I am opening the path. When you step into something and peace leaves you like birds taking flight from a field, it is the sign that I want you to stop. When you feel a strong urging, even though circumstances do not support it, that is my prompting for you to move forward. When you sense a deep inner stillness even while people pressure you, that is my invitation for you to slow down. Many lose my guidance because they have become accustomed to predicting me instead of listening to me. They assume that because in the last season I told them to move quickly, this season must be the same, but it is not so. Just as the ocean is sometimes calm and sometimes turbulent, you must adjust to the current, not to your memory. I do not want you following habits. I want you following life. To discern my rhythm, you must learn active stillness, not stillness from exhaustion, but stillness born of intention. This stillness is not avoidance. It is the posture of standing before me and allowing the Spirit to touch the deepest layers of your thoughts. In stillness, I adjust what you do not know is misaligned. I heal the wounds you do not realize are bleeding. I lift you from places you did not know you were sinking. And in that stillness you will hear gentle whispers like morning dew. Do not hurry. You are close now. Trust me. Release that. Step into this. Do not open that door. Shift directions. I am here. Each whisper is a holy rhythm guiding you so that you do not fall out of sync. Discerning rhythm also means knowing when to fight and when to rest. There are seasons when I want you to press forward, engage in spiritual battle, and push back resistance. But there are also seasons when I tell you to stand still and let me fight for you. Victory does not always come through effort. Some victories come through stillness. I also use the right people at the right time to adjust your pace. Some come to help you move faster because you have slowed too much. Some come to hold you steady because you are moving too quickly out of emotion. Some arrive to speak a word that awakens you. Others come to place a hand on your shoulder when you are weary. I use people as signs along the way, but you must discern which signs are from me. When you walk in the right rhythm, you will see that doors open smoothly and relationships find their proper place. Prayers are answered at the perfect moment. Things that were once difficult become effortless, and paths that were once unclear grow bright. My beloved, I do not speak only through my voice, through my rhythm, through my peace. I also speak through signs in your life. These signs are the way I write messages upon the wall of your circumstances, so that you do not lose your way, do not become confused, and do not remain in uncertainty. If you learn to read these signs, you will understand that no moment is meaningless, no event is random, and no detail of your life escapes my providence. There are signs I place along your path like stones marking the way through a wilderness. When you are about to step into something that is not from me, I will send the first sign, a subtle uneasiness. Not fear, not panic, but a gentle tap against your spirit, like when your hand touches water and feels the current pushing the opposite way. This is my warning. You do not need a dramatic reason. You only need to heed that signal. One step back can save you from many years of wandering. There are also signs I give through unexpected closures of doors. When I close a door, no one can open it. You may knock, you may try, you may desire to enter, but the door remains still as stone. This is not my rejection, it is my protection. I never close a door out of anger, but out of love. When you learn to recognize this sign, you will no longer be disappointed when something you hoped for does not happen. You will say, if he closed it, there must be a reason. My beloved, I also use sudden openings as powerful signs. Some doors open effortlessly, lightly, as if the air itself is ushering you forward. No striving, no pushing, no competition. When this happens, you will know that I am leading you. But you must discern, for not every open door is from me. The way to tell is this: the door I open carries peace. The door I open does not require you to lose yourself. The door I open never asks you to compromise. The door I open comes at the moment your spirit is prepared. And most of all, when you step through it, you will sense that I am already there waiting. Some signs do not appear in circumstances, but in the people I bring near you. There are those who with just one sentence make your heart shine. Some simply stand beside you, and your spirit settles. These are signs that I have sent someone as a support, a confirmation, or a stepping stone along your path. But there are also signs in the opposite direction someone approaches and your spirit contracts. Not because they are evil, but because their flow does not harmonize with the flow I placed in you. This too is a sign to keep your distance. I also speak through patterns of repetition. You may notice a theme returning again and again for days or weeks. A repeated phrase, an idea that keeps surfacing in your heart, a number, a concept, a coincidence, appearing continually. Do not dismiss these as chances. I use repetition as a gentle knocking to draw your attention. Just as Noah saw the same signs of rain for many days before the ark's door closed, I use repetition to prepare you. My beloved, there are signs I send through extended silence. When I am silent, it is not because I have abandoned you, but because you have reached a stretch of the path where you must rest, observe, and wait for more clarity. I do not want you to act prematurely. I want you to stand still long enough to see the direction more clearly. This silence is not emptiness. It is the space I create so you may find me in the deeper layers of your own spirit. The patient soul will find the clearest direction in the quiet. I also use internal changes as signs. Something once important suddenly loses its weight. Someone once close now feels distant. Work that once brought passion becomes heavy. A desire once strong becomes silent. This is not inconsistency. It is the movement of my spirit within you. These signs are the way I write messages upon the wall of your circumstances, so that you do not lose your way, do not become confused, and do not remain in uncertainty. If you learn to read these signs, you will understand that no moment is meaningless, no event is random, and no detail of your life escapes my providence. There are signs I place along your path like stones marking the way through a wilderness. You may feel a strong inner pull, a sense that you must step forward or release something or pursue a desire you cannot explain. Do not dismiss these movements. They are not random emotions. They are my touch upon your spirit. I place my will within your heart like a powerful underground current, and if you discern it, you will recognize me in it. I want you to become someone who reads signs, not by guessing but through deep union with me. When you understand how to read my signs, you will know when to wait, when to move, when to remain silent, when to open your heart, when to close a door, when to step into what is new, and when to return to the place of peace. Beloved, all of creation speaks to you when your heart is attentive. The wind carries reminders. Light brings confirmation. Rain brings cleansing. People bring illumination. Silence brings depth. And your own heart carries the clearest sign I leave within you. When you combine my voice, my rhythm, and my signs, you will walk confidently in every season of your life. You will not lose your way. You will not need another voice to guide you, but mine. You will not be pulled off course by foreign influences. You will become someone who stands firm because you can hear the divine signal even in the midst of storms. My beloved, the journey of discernment does not end with recognizing others, reading the seasons, interpreting external signs, or sensing my rhythm. None of these become complete until you learn the most essential skill, discerning yourself. For every influence that enters your life, whether from people, circumstances, or the enemy, must pass through the filter of your inner life before it shapes your soul. And if that filter is not clean, not clear, not healed, then even when you hear my voice, it becomes muffled within you. Many souls are not deceived by others, but by themselves. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they do not recognize that within them exist three voices: the voice of fear, the voice of woundedness, and the voice of the Spirit. All three are quiet. All three feel similar, yet each carries a profoundly different essence. The voice of fear always speaks in contraction. It pulls you back. It makes your heart race. It paints the future as a dark uncertainty. It never invites you forward. It only urges you to retreat. The voice of fear steals your peace, even when it sounds reasonable. The voice of woundedness speaks with heaviness and sorrow. It makes the world appear as if it is against you. It causes you to view others through the lens of past pain, convincing you that what once happened will happen again. It does not lead into new life. It traps you in old memories. It does not bring clarity. It brings fatigue. It does not open doors. It builds walls. My voice is entirely different. My voice comes with light, not shadow, with gentleness, not pressure, with invitation, not coercion, with peace, not panic, with strength but never aggression, with assurance but never haste. Self-discernment is learning to ask, where is this emotion coming from? Does this thought carry the breath of truth or of fear? Is this reaction born from a wound or from maturity? Is this inner voice truly mine? You must learn to look into your soul the way a traveler studies a night map. If any place within you is dark, that is a place where I want to shine my light. If any place within you is hurting, that is where I want to heal. If any place within you is afraid, that is where I want to strengthen. If any place within you resists my leading, that is where I want to unearth the old roots. I do not give you discernment so that you may doubt yourself. I give you discernment so you may see the truth about your own soul, a truth that, if left unseen, would cause you to act out of wounded instinct rather than the truth I've placed within you. You must learn to distinguish between healthy stillness and withdrawal born from fear. Outwardly, these may look similar, but their essence is opposite. The stillness that comes from me makes you steady, clear, and unhurried. Withdrawal driven by fear isolates you, causes you to avoid life, and makes you lose the opportunities I have prepared. You must learn to discern between resting in me and delaying out of anxiety. Rest leads you into restoration. Delay makes you miss what I have prepared. You must distinguish between true humility and insecurity wearing a mask. Humility says, I trust you, and I know my place. Insecurity whispers, I am unworthy, I am not enough, I cannot. That voice is not mine. One of the most important aspects of discernment is learning to examine your own motives. Not everything you desire is wrong, but you must ask, do I want this because of you or because of a lack within me? Do I pursue this because it is a calling or because I fear being left behind? Am I seeking affirmation or walking in trust? Self-discernment means looking beyond the surface of events. It is not asking what is happening, but why does this affect me so deeply? For your reactions reveal more than the circumstance itself. Some things you call intuition are actually fear in disguise. Some things you describe as deep sensing are echoes of unhealed memories. Some things you believe are warnings from me are simply the reverberations of old wounds. That is why I invite you into the process of self-discernment, because if you do not recognize the unhealed places within you, those very places will distort the signals I send. My child, remember, this discernment does not begin with understanding others. It begins with understanding yourself. A clear soul sees the world with clear eyes. A wounded soul sees the world through fear. An unhealed soul perceives threats everywhere, but a soul healed by me sees hope in all things. To discern your own heart, you must learn to come before me in honesty, not hiding, not covering, not painting your soul with excuses. When you dare to face the deepest parts of yourself, you will hear me most clearly. For I do not speak to the image you create. I speak to who you truly are. This is the first step of inner discernment, the courage to face yourself so that I may reorder the depths within you. A soul clear on the inside is not easily deceived on the outside. But a soul filled with inner contradictions cannot hear me clearly, even when I speak loudly. I invite you into this journey, the journey of truth, healing, and renewal. My beloved, every soul contains deep currents like underground streams, shaping your reactions, your thoughts, and the decisions you make in pivotal moments. These internal forces, the unhealed wounds, the hidden fears, the invisible expectations, are what I desire to bring to light so you may be freed from their silent influence. Not all your emotions come from truth. Many are residues of old memories, shadows of unspoken pain, or instinctive reactions formed in seasons of woundedness. Your emotions may be valid as experiences but not accurate as truth. Memories that once shook you may now distort reality when they echo again. Fears can appear long after the danger has passed, like dry leaves trembling though the wind is gone. I want you to see this so you may recognize that following your emotions is not always the same as walking in truth. Many souls are not deceived by others but by their own inner voice, one shaped by wounds that have not yet healed. These wounds do not disappear simply because time passes. They sleep in the dark, waiting, and then rise in the form of overreactions to small things irrational, worry about non-existent threats, or a sudden shrinking back from moments meant for joy. A casual word from someone can pierce you deeply, not because the word was severe, but because it touched an unhealed place. I do not want you to be led by your wounds. I want you to see them, bring them to me, and allow me to heal them with my gentle touch. A wound is not something you must fear. It is simply a place where I desire to shine. Fear is one of the most silent, yet powerful forces pulling at your soul. It can wear many disguises, unseen by human eyes: fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of being used, fear of not being enough, fear of stepping into the new. Though these fears may appear reasonable, they never lead you to life. They only keep you confined, locking your feet into a false safety that causes you to miss the opportunities I open. Fear whispers, "Don't move. You'll be hurt." But my voice whispers differently, "Step forward. I am with you." Fear always steals peace. My presence always carries peace even in challenges. If you learn to discern this, you will not let yourself be controlled by unseen shadows. Not only wounds and fears pull at you, expectations do too, your own expectations and the expectations others place upon you. Sometimes you think you are pursuing something noble, yet beneath it lies the desire to be acknowledged, to be loved, to feel valuable in someone's eyes. Sometimes you believe you are doing your best for the right reasons, but in reality you are simply trying not to disappoint anyone. These expectations rest on your shoulders like mist light in appearance, heavy in weight. They make your soul tired. They cause you to walk burdened because you are living to satisfy others rather than following my voice. I do not want you confused between the purpose I've designed for you and the pressure others impose. I want you free in my will, unshaken by invisible demands. When you learn to discern these inner pullings, you will begin to see the truth, the truth. Many decisions in a person's life are not shaped by what happens externally, but by the state of the soul within. An unhealed heart can turn good counsel into an attack. A soul full of fear can turn an opportunity from me into an imagined threat. A heart weighed down by others' expectations can turn the light path I designed for you into an unnecessary burden. That is why I lead you into this depth of discernment, so you may see these things clearly, so you will no longer live by reaction, but by truth. I do not want you deceiving yourself nor walking forward in the shadow of currents you have never understood. When you dare to face the deepest parts of yourself, you will hear me most clearly. For I do not speak to the image you create. I speak to who you truly are. This is the first step of inner discernment, the courage to face yourself so that I may reorder the depths within you. A soul clear on the inside is not easily deceived on the outside. But a soul filled with inner contradictions cannot hear me clearly even when I speak loudly. You will think with greater clarity. You will choose based on truth rather than woundedness. You will walk in freedom rather than fear. You will act from wholeness, not from lack. And in that depth, you will discern my voice more accurately than ever, because when the inner noise quiets, my voice becomes clear like morning light shining into a place that was once dim. This is the freedom I desire to bring you, into freedom from old wounds, from unnamed fears, from binding expectations, and freedom to hear me with a clear, awakened soul. My child, you have journeyed from merely knowing you must guard your heart from others' intentions to recognizing the unseen currents between relationships, to hearing my voice amid the noise, to identifying the sacred seasons of your life, to reading my signs along the path, and finally to turning inward to behold your very own soul. These are not isolated lessons. They form a complete picture of a life lived in awareness, in light, in deep communion with me. Discernment is no longer a reflex to avoid danger. It becomes the way you walk, the way you love, the way you trust, the way you choose, the way you exist. It becomes the very breath of your soul as you live near me. And now I desire to place my hand upon your head and speak final words as a seal, so you may know that you have not merely learned a principle, you are becoming a new kind of person. From this moment forward, every step you take is accompanied by two things: my presence and the awakened capacity to perceive. You no longer fear being pushed into places of uncertainty, for I have placed light within you. You no longer live reactively, responding only when things happen. You are invited to live proactively, to walk ahead, to sense ahead, to see ahead, so that you no longer fall into the snares you once did. You have learned that not everyone who comes close is someone you must open your heart to. You have learned that not every open door is one I have opened. You have discovered that not every emotion inside you deserves your obedience. You now understand that not every silence is emptiness, not every slowing down is defeat, and not every refusal is cruelty. And once these truths become clear, your life becomes lighter, because you will stop carrying what is not yours. Stop holding people who refuse to stand on their own. Stop clinging to seasons I have closed, and stop binding your soul to the expectations of others like invisible chains. I want you to understand that discernment at its deepest level is not a skill for doubting life. It is the capacity to live in truth. Truth about me, truth about yourself, truth about others, truth about timing. When you walk in truth, you no longer strain to hold everything together. You no longer analyze until exhaustion, control until weariness, or guess your way through life with an anxious spirit. You need only one thing: remain near me, for I am the one who knows, and I do not keep from you what you need to know. I reveal myself to those who walk with a soft heart, teachable and willing. Whenever you choose to return to where I am, you will never lack direction. Whenever you choose to listen instead of rushing, you will never be abandoned in confusion. Whenever you choose to believe I am good regardless of circumstance, you will not lose yourself to fear or woundedness. You do not need perfect discernment to be loved by me. I have loved you even in your confusion, even when you misstep, even when you mistake your voice for mine. I do not require you to be flawless. I invite you to not remain in your missteps. Each time you see you have wandered off course, simply return, call to me. Place your hand over your heart and say, "Teach me again." That is enough. I am never weary of guiding you again. I am never irritated by your hesitations. I am never disappointed that you need correction more than once. On the contrary, each return delights me because it reveals that you choose me over pride. The wise are not the ones who never fail. The wise are the ones who never stop being teachable. And I am your teacher, persistent, gentle, patient, unrelenting in love. From now on, when you meet new people, you will no longer see only with your eyes, but with a heart trained to perceive. You will not hand the keys of your life to someone simply because they compliment you, show interest, or share a few similarities. You will not freeze your heart because of past wounds, nor throw the doors wide open without hearing me. You will learn to stand in that rare balance between love and alertness, between kindness and healthy boundaries. You will know how to smile, welcome, and be gracious, while still guarding a sacred space that belongs only to me, a place no one may enter unless I approve. That inner sanctuary is your center, and only I may dwell there. When that center is secure, no relationship, whether beautiful or painful, can destroy you. As you enter new seasons, you will no longer be overwhelmed by change. You have learned that I use every season to teach, shape, and prepare you. When the season of sowing comes, you will not despair because results are not yet visible. When the season of harvest comes, you will not fear the abundance I give. When the season of stillness arrives, you will not panic or feel forgotten. When the season of testing appears, you will not assume you are abandoned. You will see every season through the light of my presence and say, "You are here also. You are working here too." And because of this, you will stop comparing your path to others. Stop asking why their road seems straight while yours seems winding. Every detour in me has a purpose. Every delay in me has a reason. Every redirection in me carries a new layer of wisdom. You are not the words others once spoke over you. You are not your fears, your shame, your doubts, or your old wounds. You are the one I love, the one I call, the one I am shaping. Some things you call intuition are actually fear in disguise. Some things you describe as deep sensing are echoes of unhealed memories. Some things you believe are warnings from me are simply the reverberations of old wounds. That is why I invite you into the process of self-discernment, because if you do not recognize the unhealed places within you, those very places will distort the signals I send. What I want you to carry at the end of this journey is the certainty that you are not alone in discernment. You are not the only one who must analyze, measure, or evaluate. I am in you. I go before you. I stand behind you, and I surround you on every side. I am the one who sees the conversations spoken behind your back that you never heard. I am the one who knows the intentions in others' hearts that you cannot discern. I am the one who sees the traps laid for you long before your feet reach them. Whenever I stir your spirit, whenever I allow an uneasiness to rise within you, whenever I close a door you long to open, whenever I pull you away from something that appears good, it is never to make your path difficult. It is because I stand like a father above the landscape, seeing the whole picture, shielding you from roads that would cost you more than you can bear. When I open a door, when I bring the right person near, when I fill you with peace in the midst of unanswered questions, these are the ways I lead you beyond fear, beyond woundedness, beyond the limits of your past. You no longer need to live in constant suspicion, constant withdrawal, or constant self-protection. I did not call you to become someone who lives in perpetual doubt. I called you to walk in the light, gentle, yet steady, soft, yet rooted, able to love, yet able to guard your heart. I also use the right people at the right time to adjust your pace. Some come to help you move faster because you have slowed too much. Some come to hold you steady because you are moving too quickly out of emotion. Some arrive to speak a word that awakens you. Others come to place a hand on your shoulder when you are weary. I use people as signs along the way, but you must discern which signs are from me. It may wear the appearance of light, but my presence in you will make that disguise impossible to hold. You will no longer be unguarded ground. You will be a garden fenced with gates, with pathways, with a watchman. And that watchman is me. If you keep your hand in mine, if you allow your ear to stay sensitive to my voice, if you are willing to obey, even when understanding has not yet come, you will be preserved in wisdom, in peace, and in safety. You will learn to live not by fear but by clarity, not by reaction but by guidance, not by confusion but by trust. I am with you in every act of discernment. I do not hand you a compass only to leave you wandering alone. I myself am the way. I do not shine light on your path only to step back and observe. I am the light. I do not merely teach you about life. I am life. When you have me, you have everything needed to walk wisely, to love without losing yourself, to move forward without losing direction, and to stand in this world without being swallowed by it. Hold this truth, inscribe it upon your heart. You never have to discern alone.